Hey you guys, Teanna Branae here and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be something real simple I wanted to do. It's just going to be like stuff that I've come to realize post-married life or during, is it post-married life? Should I say post? Or is that when you're divorced? What's post? No. Well, stuff I've realized since I've been married. So I'm recording this video on September 23rd. I think we got married in June. So on the 26th, it'll be 3 months that we've been married. So I wanted to do this video for you guys just about stuff I've noticed since being married. It's not gonna be too shebang, but I thought it would be a cool video to record for you guys because a lot of people have different opinions about marriage or whether they believe in it, don't believe in it, things of that nature. It's not my business. But this is just what I've noticed as a married woman. Oh, I can say my life is a newlywed. Should I say that? Whatever it is, my life since then. So I wrote it down on a tablet. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is like the main question that I've been getting since I've been married. And that's how's married life? I don't particularly care for that question. And I'll tell you why. Andre and I have been together since 2014. The anniversary of our first date is soon. We went on our first date in September of 2014. I'm not gonna say the day, but it was September. I feel like I probably told you the date before, but whatever. We've been together for about 7 years. It'll be 7 years that we've been involved with each other in a little bit. And we've lived together since 2016. So that's like 5 years ago we moved in together. And the reason I don't like the how's married life question, we've lived together for years. We've had a child together for years now. So it's not much about our relationship that has changed to the extent where I would realize the difference, if that makes sense. I mean, he could put me on his health insurance. I make the final decision with whatever happens to him. He makes the final decision with whatever happens to me. I inherit money if he was to pass. He inherits money if I was to pass. I don't know. Like, nothing's changed. And I feel like that's the same line of way where you say, when random people say, how are you doing? They want you to say good, they want you to say well, they want you to say I'm doing fine. They don't really want to answer. That's kind of how I feel about the how's married life question. Like, you don't really want to know. You're asking because you feel like you should, because you know that I just got married recently. But you don't really care. Like, if I told you my marriage sucked and I don't have a way out, or I hated this person, or I'm already regretting my decision, which, knock on wood, what would your reaction be? Like, what would you say? So I don't really like that question, because it's kind of like, what do you expect me to tell you? I don't know. It's doing fine. But what I have been telling people is, I don't know, nothing's changed yet. I mean, maybe when there's something that happens that forces me as a wife to do something because I'm a wife, I'll feel a way. But nothing's changed in that regard yet. So I don't know. It's been quite the same. I feel like the only time you have like that oh my God, marriage life is, being married has changed my life so much, is like, we didn't live together before we got married, or we weren't intimate with each other before we got married. So you have like that type of thing to look forward to. But we've been together 7 years pretty much. So I don't know. But people ask it. I just say, I don't know, nothing's happened for it to be different yet. And I'm not trying to be shady. I mean, I call him my husband. I guess that's exciting. But nothing happened for me to be excited about being Mrs. Blank. Like, nothing's happened for me to be excited about that yet. Not that I'm upset about it, but I'm just saying, like, it's okay. The next thing that I've noticed since being married, excuse me, a lot of other people dictate your behavior. Like, I've heard people say to me, well, you're married, so you can't say that anyway. You married, so you can't do that anyway. You married, so you can't talk about that anyway. I've seen that and heard that, and I feel like, who were you to tell me? Like, it's not coming from my husband. It's coming from other people. I feel like I've noticed that other people want to tend to try to tell me what my. That's cool. When I move my tablet, it adjusts the lighting. That's what that is, if you guys notice it. But yeah, the whole you're married so you can't, it doesn't come from my husband. It comes from like other people. And so that's one thing I've noticed. A lot of people try to dictate what your married experience should be based on what theirs is, or based on what they would want theirs to be when they get married, or if they get married. And it's kind of like, okay. But I don't feed into it, but it's just one thing that I've noticed. But you didn't say it. Like I said, I've been with the same person for 7 years. Why is it now that I'm married, it's, well, you shouldn't do that because you're married. You shouldn't talk about that because you're married. But in May, no, we got engaged in 2019. So let's say before December 2019, which is when we got engaged, I wasn't hearing, well, you've been with this same person for 5 years, so you shouldn't say things like that. You shouldn't do things like that. You've been with the same person for 5 years. But now I get it a lot since being married, which is annoying. But I just tune it out and don't pay attention to it. If my husband doesn't have an issue with it, I don't care about what other people have to say about it. Another thing that I have noticed is people want to talk about your marriage a lot. Like, people want to talk about your marriage. And I talk about my marriage to the extent that I like to talk about my marriage, but most of the time I redirect the conversation. So I'll say something like, oh, he don't be thinking about me. Oh, he be doing his own thing. I don't be thinking about him. I don't care about that. Like, I will redirect the conversation and kind of like brush it off in like a joking matter, because I don't have a problem talking about not my relationship, but just funny things that happen in our relationship, or things that make me laugh, or things that Andre said that I thought was funny, or things that he's done, whatever. But I'm not going to talk about my relationship in depth with someone who's not my husband. And I find that people do that a lot. Now, whether they're doing that because they're nosy or because they want to find unhappiness in your union, or whatever the case may be, I don't know. But I've noticed that people do that a lot. Which is interesting. But I just redirect the conversation and I don't feed into it, because that's not for me to feed into. Another thing that I've learned, and this is not even just with being married, this is just being with Andre, who's my husband, for such a long time. His friends are not my friends. My friends are not his friends. And I feel like that's extremely important. You have to have your own friend group. You have to have your own people you can talk to. Because yes, you want to be able to talk to your spouse about everything, but it's not realistic. You have to be able to have a safe space to be able to vent to somebody who's not your spouse. Because you need to be able to have your own space. And I feel like if you do end up having a mutual friend, because me and Andre have people who we're both mutually cool with, but I feel like it's important in those situations that you have your own separate friendships with them. So they don't always think of you, the two of you, as one person. Like, it's important that you, like, or even with siblings, I do this. Like, the relationship I have with the three of my sisters is different amongst the three of them. You have to do that with your friendships as well, especially if you and your mate share friends. Because everybody needs to have a different version of that friendship. because what you require in a friendship may not be what your spouse or your mate requires in a friendship. So I feel like those are the things that I've been learning. Yes, it's important to be able to bond as a married couple with other people, but at the same time, you have to be able to have your own identity basically outside of that. But I think that's all. So I told you guys it was going to be a real quick video, real short video, just because I've only been married for a few months. But that's just the stuff that I've noticed that slightly changed since getting married. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down, whichever you prefer. Comment down below if there are things that you have learned or seen differently since you've been married, or if you are getting married. Have you noticed any changes in friendships or relationships outside of you and your spouse? And I hope you guys subscribe if you're new. I hope you choose to stay a little while here at this channel. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.